Hi everyone, Chris and Tara of thechrisandtara.com, where we help couples get to the ultimate state of understanding, connection, and intimacy.
Yes, that's awesome. So today we're going to talk about trust and how trust is the cornerstone of every relationship and how it's also the foundation of our marriage.
Yeah, outside of God, there's no greater foundation that we have. And I first want to start off with a definition of what trust is according to Merriam-Webster's dictionary. It's the assured reliance on the character, ability, strength, or truth of someone or something, one in which confidence is placed. You know, a lot of people think that trust is just not where the other person is going to cheat on them. It's really, trust is built in communication, in character, in intentions. I mean, it's a really big deal. So how this is going to work and flow for all of us is I'm going to talk about trust from my perspective. Tara's going to talk about trust from her perspective. Then we're going to come together with a solution. And I'm sure all of you want solutions. You don't want psychological mumbo jumbo. You want to be able to leave this video, be able to implement something immediately and help your marriage. Because I know that's what I would want. Mm-hmm. So, and I know you're just like me and us. So first of all, trust. You know, trust is a big deal when it comes to communication. And I can tell you straight up that I have violated a lot of trust in Tara's communication. And here's why. Because like most guys, we're fixers. We want to be able to find something, or we're hearing something and our antennas go up. We're like, beep, 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 beep. I'm going to fix that. And so all of our communication now is based on how I'm going to respond or how I'm going to fix that problem. Where it should be, guys, listen up, where it should be trying to understand Tara and our relationship and understanding how she feels or what she's trying to communicate. Does she want me to just listen and fix it? Or fix it, one of the two. So with that being said, I have violated a lot of communications times because I am trying to be a fixer, and that is a no-no.
Yeah, he's right, but he's also implemented something where he says, before, if I'm going to share my feelings with him, he'll ask me, so do you want me to just listen, or do you want me to offer you solutions? So then that gives me the opportunity to say, okay, he's actually going to listen to me based on what I'm asking him to do. So that's been awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing that.
Cool. And I have to be present in order to do that. I can't be thinking about what I'm going to be saying while I'm trying to, interact with her. So it's cool.
Yeah. And I think we're all can be guilty of that a little bit. So my perspective on trust is that, Chris was not my first boyfriend I ever had. I was not his first girlfriend or serious relationship. So there had been some breaches in our trust with the opposite sex before we got married. So for me, I kind of brought some baggage into our marriage. I know, Chris, you admit you did too as well.
We were a hot mess when we got married.
So we both had that, and so there was, like I said, there had been some mistrust going on, and that started to affect. I started thinking, oh, you're just like every other guy. You're gonna do this, this, and this, and so that was a definite breach in our trust factor to be able to, trust you. And then also another thing was that I didn't really trust myself because I had made some really bad decisions in my life previous, and so I kind of thought, can I even trust myself? And so for me, it was being able to go back and say, what are some things I can put in my life today where I can start trusting myself, so that then if I can trust myself, then I can trust Chris and extend the same grace to him.
Like, for example, what's one thing you've done to be able to learn how to trust yourself? And this is key, guys. Many guys don't trust ourselves because we lie and we hide and we do all this stuff. So it's not good. So what's one thing you do?
I think one thing is that I don't say yes to things that I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to do. So that's a big thing, because if I say I'm going to do it and then I don't do it, then I've lied to myself.
Yeah, same with me. If I say something, I've got to follow through, even if it's painful or whatever, because that's the first step, is being able to trust ourselves. So very good. So now we're going to have 3 practical tips that you can take with you. There's more, but these are the 3 top ones that we feel. And Tara's going to open up with the first one, which is open and clear communication.
Yeah, so I think, well, the one thing that we just talked about, you asking me with intention, listening with intention, and not how we said it was listening with intention to understand, or listening with intention to fix the problem. And so that's one of the lines of clear communication is listening to understand. And that'll help in the offering the solutions later. The other thing is being able to have a safe area to be able to share what we're thinking, share our thoughts, share our feelings. And then sometimes I receive something he said not the way he intended it. So I know that when that happens, because I immediately kind of like get offended, or I immediately, I kind of got a hurt feeling. So now one of the tools we have picked up along our journey is the one phrase that says, "What did you mean by that?" And yeah, you want to say anything about that?
That's just gold. That's what I want to say about it, is that it's really a life-saving change, a game changer for your marriage when you communication structure. Because let's be honest, is that communication is how you connect. It's just that's how it's done. And so if I don't understand, or she doesn't understand me, what did you mean by that? It's gonna break. It's gonna break that barrier of trust, put a wall up, and then people get offended.
Yes. So that just allows open communication. It allows me to get clarification on what he said to me, so that he gives him an opportunity. And I think that's one of the biggest tools that we have picked up along our journey.
Yeah. So the second one, number 2, is being honest. So for guys, this is probably the harder one, because of the fact that we as nature, by men, we speak less words than women. I think what's the study?
7,000 a day for men, how many words they speak, versus women is 20,000 a day.
So some people would say I grunt, or other men would grunt, and we give these short answers like yes, no, maybe, 2 or 3 lines or words. But what helps build that trust is when Tara has the wherewithal to, what did you mean by that? Or how did that make you feel? Or she probes a little deeper, because she's not letting me off the hook with this just a 3-word answer, right? She wants me to express myself. Now, for some guys that may be hard. It doesn't mean that we're being mushy or being less manly, become a woman. No, it's just learning the skill set of being able to express ourselves, which allows us to be better husbands, better fathers, better in our job, because now we can tell people, if we're bosses or whatever, tell people why we are doing what we're doing, or explain some things, because a lot of times that communication trust is broken because people just bark orders. And I'm sure you've got a boss like that. They just bark orders, and you're like, whoa, that's the whole thing. It's this trusting and being honest and open with your communication, which means being able to express yourself.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to add on to the being honest, is that oftentimes we're not honest because we're afraid how the person's going to respond. And so then we're like, I'm not going to be honest. I'm not going to really tell them how I'm feeling, because they're not going to be able to handle it. And so that actually brings us into our third point, is that take 100% responsibility for our actions. And this is where I can't be responsible for how he's going to respond if I'm truly honest with my feelings. I just have to be honest. I have to do what I need to do to say how I'm feeling, or how something made me feel. And then that way, he has to take 100% responsibility for how he responds, while I'm also taking 100% responsibility for my actions as well.
Yeah. That's so good. I've learned through the years that I own all of this. So she can have the freedom to be able to express what she's feeling, because I can't be offended. The only offense that I can have is one that I choose to be offended on. So if I own all of this, I own my response. I own how I feel, how it makes me feel. And because I own it, I won't get offended, because that's the goal, right? For me, is to be not offendable. I can say, you know what? You can be honest. It's not going to impact me. I'm a big boy. I got big shoulders. and I'm going to choose not to be offended. Now, all of that is silent. It's in my head, and it's because I know who I am, and so I want to put that area around myself and allow her that freedom. And likewise for men, we need to be able to if we're gonna get over the hump and express our feelings, we've got to be able to. I've got to be able to trust her that she's going to own that, and the response that she's going to have towards me is, a good dialogue.
And how I respond, and how I manage the feelings that you're giving me when you're being honest and you're being truthful.
Yeah. So what we learned about is trust. The three things: one, opening, clear communication, being honest, as well as owning it and showing 100% responsibility. So the last thing I want to share with you, and just in closing, is an encouragement that it takes courage to be able to do this. It's worth the price. You're going to have a good, healthy marriage, a good cornerstone, because connection, intimacy happens through the communication process. And if she feels like she can't trust me, or I feel like I can't trust her, and I break that, I put a wall up, then it's only going to hurt the connection and intimacy. So it takes courage to be real. And men, you can do it. Men, you can do it because you're a man. You can put your shoulders back and say, you know what? I'm gonna be a leader in this, and I'm gonna show Tara. I'm gonna show my wife how to be real and be authentic and to be open and honest and all of that. So, any last parting words?
Well, trust is built. So if you don't have it right now, you can start today to start building those blocks back up again by using some of these principles that we've shared with you. So, we're all building this house, and we're all on this journey. And so just start where you're at today. Yeah,
that's wise. I ought to marry her. I think I will. So it's good stuff. So thanks for listening, and be sure to check out our YouTube channel at The Chris and Tara. Talk to you soon.